That looks like the image on the letter. This must have meant something to Kasumi if she went through so much trouble to hide it. How'd it get so late already? I should get to bed. Time to grade some papers.
Hello.
I found watery footprints in my room.
Did you see them appear, or were they there and you found them?
They were already there.
Well, at least that's good.
Why is that?
To make wet footprints appear, you just need a wet foot and something to put it on. But when they just start appearing out of the blue, ain't nothing too good about that, especially considering what happened to the previous innkeeper.
What do you mean?
I know you ain't the superstitious kind. Otherwise, you'd be long gone by now, but it ain't always good to talk about the dead, especially those not at rest.
Logan told me you're writing a second ghost hunting book.
Now, that ain't true.
Something happened to make you stop writing the book, didn't it?
Yes.
What happened?
Nancy, I like you. So I ain't ever gonna tell you why. But I will tell you this. Don't go looking in dark corners unless you're ready to live with knowing what's hiding there.
What do you know about EVP?
It's a ghost hunter's best friend, in more ways than one.
How's that?
Well, if you're just looking to find evidence that you got a bunch of wild spirits running amok, you'll find it in your EVP recordings.
How do you mean?
It's very easy to hear what you want to hear in those recordings.
It doesn't sound like you think it works.
Oh, you'd be surprised. But one thing it does do for certain is let you eavesdrop on the whole property without drawing too much attention to yourself. If something ain't on the level, you'll hear it. But Nancy.
Yeah?
You might just stumble into something you don't want to hear. You best be ready for that.
What is a yure?
It's a vengeful spirit that never knew justice here on the earth. They're said to be the spirits of those who've been wronged, and they're caught up in the worst moment you can imagine. They're very angry and very, very dangerous. If that's what you're dealing with there, you best be very careful.
How did you get into ghost hunting?
I guess you could say I was born into it. My daddy'd always drag me with him to these spooky old houses looking for broken down things to fix up. I guess that's where I got my start. Standing in those old falling apart houses, it was hard not to imagine ghosts coming round every corner. Used to scare me something bad, but somewhere along the road all the fear turned to curiosity.
What is the scariest thing you've seen while ghost hunting?
The really scary things are the ones you'll never see. But I guess one of the most frightening places I've been was this little town in the middle of nowhere in Germany. I was there writing a chapter on an old castle that the locals all said was haunted. Hundreds of years ago, the castle had belonged to this terrible family that had a reputation for all sorts of cruelty. And at first I didn't believe the stories, but the more exploring I did, the more I started to see some of the terrible things that had happened there. All those stories, they were true. Didn't find any ghosts. That would have been better, I think.
What happened that made you give up ghost hunting?
It wasn't just one thing. It was a lot of things, really. My daddy used to tell me, Sugar, y'all be careful what you go looking for in that big old world. Chances are, you're gonna find it.
What did you end up finding?
It ain't what I found, honey. It's what found me.
What do you mean?
Exactly what I said, and that's the last you're getting out of me on the topic. You got anything else you need?
Have you run across someone rigging doors to slam before?
Sure. Now that one's older than the hills.
What's the best way to do something like that?
Oh, plenty ways. You can use remote control, wire, and pulleys. One place I went even used air pressure, if y'all can believe that mess.
That makes sense. What should I keep an eye out for?
Anything that looks out of place.
Do you remember what room you stayed in at the Ryokan?
Oh, now that was so long ago, I don't even have the slightest.
Do you remember anything?
I remember I was on the second floor, and it had this strange passageway in it, but that's about it. I got the impression they weren't too crazy about having me stay there. So maybe you should check the records for a room that they don't let out to customers.
A passageway? To where?
Yeah, it was bizarre. I don't really remember exactly where it went. Down into the basement, maybe? Unfortunately, I didn't have much time to explore the room before I had to leave.
Can you tell me anything else about your stay here?
Not much to tell. I had to leave too soon. Such a sweet family. I hate to think of what those poor girls are going through. Losing their mother so young and then having them hauntings to deal with.
I'll let you go.
You take care now. Hi.
I think there's something pretty strange about Rentaro.
Yeah, the way Yumi tells it, he's about as weird as they come. Do you think he could be behind what's going on?
Hard to say for sure.
Well, he may be strange, but sometimes strange just means strange.
Takai is really difficult to talk to sometimes. I think she might be hiding something.
From what Yumi says, Takai may be a lot less sweet than she seems.
How so?
Yumi didn't really say, but I get the sense that she thinks Takai might be behind the hauntings. She told me that Takai never believed in the supernatural until recently, which seems a little suspicious to me.
I'll stop bugging you now.
Bye, Nancy.
Hi.
Was Yumi here earlier?
Yes.
Really? I'm sorry I missed her.
Don't be. Anyway, it's always Blink and you'll miss her with Yumi. You'd think she was allergic to this place, which is fine by me.
Why is that?
Look, I know she's fun at first, but it's like strangers get fun Yumi, and all we get is touchy, angry Yumi these days.
Why do you think that is? If you didn't work here, what would you do?
It's been so long since I've been asked that. I don't know. Something very different. Something exciting with Rentaro.
I'll stop bugging you now.
See you later.